Do you need to sell investments in order to satisfy your required minimum distributions? All right. Question from our man Alberto from California. It's a good question, actually, one I think a lot of people don't recognize. So the question ultimately comes down to, Josh, I have an IRA, I'm over 70 and a half, I got to make my RMDs, my required minimum distributions. Do I actually have to sell the shares? And the answer is unequivocally no, you don't. And this same goes to a Roth conversion too, by the way, my friends. You don't have to sell it and then turn around and buy it back again. So again, you have one account here, you got 100 shares of VTSMX, all right? That's the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. You're like, man, I got to sell, I need to take 20% of that out for an RMD. And so what do? Well, I'll go ahead, go to the bank or go online, sell 20%. You don't need to do that. What you can do is you can say to your custodian, Vanguard, USAA, Fidelity, hey, move X amount of shares, which will satisfy your required minimum distribution. Say it's 40 shares. Say it's 39.66. Move them in kind now, from my IRA to my taxable account. All right, that is absolutely a satisfying of your required distributions because you're being taxed on the dollar amount. That's all they care about. They're just saying, hey, you had $100,000 in your IRA. We divide that by 27.4. Your required minimum distribution is about $3,600. We'll just say $3,700. We don't care what happens. We just want to make sure you add $3,700 of taxable income to your 1040. Does that make sense? And if you do, we don't care if you sell the shares. We don't care if you freaking take the shares and throw them into the water. We don't care. We just want to make sure that we can tax you on that amount of money that was supposed to come out of your IRA and that it happened. So what you do is you call up your provider and say, hey, I want to move this in kind. That's a critical word here. I want to move them in kind. Don't sell, in kind. And they got form. They said transfer 10.88 shares from point A to point B. It's literally that simple. Same thing with your Roth, man. Now, do not do this on your Roth, please. Do not do this on your Roth where you sell it over here to buy it over here. I just don't do that. Again, transfer in kind. It doesn't make sense to sell on one side to buy on the other side, especially it's like when I bought my USAA VTV today, you know, so I think it was $4.99 or something like that. I can't remember, but you know, I mean, that's not much. I get that, but why go through the hassle of that? And don't forget, you still, when you sell, you still got to wait a certain amount of time before you can turn around and rebuy. Because of the settlement days. Again, I think it's T+3. So you're going to be out of the market for a couple days anyway. So hope that makes sense. And always remember that. Secondly, on RMDs, just to be clear, converting to a Roth does not satisfy your RMD. All right, so that's why what I always say, the golden years of tax planning are between 62 and 70, because you're not at RMD stages yet. You haven't hit the mandatory distributions that are required. So you can just move anything you want from point A to point B without having to worry about RMD. Now, once you get to 70 and a half, going back to the $100,000, that $3,700 that you're taking out for mandatory distributions, that cannot go into your Roth as a conversion. You have to satisfy it exclusive of whatever you do converting. So in this case, say you want to convert $10,000. You're like, I'll move $10,000 from my IRA to my Roth, and that's fine, but you still got to take $3,700 out for your required distributions. Does that make sense? So you just got to keep that in mind. Now, you could say, all right, well, I'm just going to take it out anyway, just put it in a cash, do whatever you want, but it doesn't matter. You have to move the money out of your IRA and not into, it can't go from here to here. It's got to go from here to here, which is your taxable account. Now, ultimately, if you're still making earned income, you can actually make a contribution of cash into your Roth. You can't make contributions of shares. Oh, hear those? Oh, yeah. Man, birds. I love the spring. Spring's my favorite time of year. You can't make contributions of shares to an IRA or Roth IRA. It's only cash money. That's it. But you can absolutely convert shares. I have 100 shares of AT&T stock. It's in a label as an IRA right now. I want to convert that to a Roth IRA. I mean, it was just repapering is what it's called. It's easy to do. If your custodian can't do it for you, get a new custodian. That's what you got to do. All right, we'll see you next time.